to dig the colorful things we say.
What are we going to do about the other generation?
How we ever communicate without communication
when we're using words the modern way.
Boom, boom. They're much too big to try to dig the colorful things we say.
And
we
welcome
are
back
to the most popular podcast show
in the galaxy.
in the world, Earth.
Maz. Joe Brani.
Oh gosh, yes.
Okay, I don't know where we're going
I
there.
have no clue.
Welcome
Just
back.
get your ass to Mars.
Get your ass to the chopper.
No! That's horrible. Oh, man.
We practice a lot of
Come
things, but
Come on!
The intro is not one we practice.
No, yeah.
No.
All right. Welcome everyone back to the most amazing podcast that you'll ever hear in your entire life.
Adult or child.
Adult or child.
Childhood, you will look back on this like you look back on your mother reading to you as a child.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yes. And so this podcast, of course, is called Well,
That's your opinion, man.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. This podcast is about news and shit.
News and shit, news and views.
News and views.
Our hilarious comedy, our witty banter.
It's constant hilarity
Oh, yes.
and witty banter.
If you like peanuts jokes, you're in the right spot.
This is the spot. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yes. We got highbrow. We got lowbrow.
We got midbrow.
We got midbrow.
Brow.
Yes. I love it. We got unibrow. You know?
Unibrow.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't discriminate on the brows.
No, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
The question mark kind.
All brows are welcome here. You know, so okay. Welcome. Let's kind of get into it real quick. Let's kind of talk about our weeks here. Oh wait, before we do that, let's kind of talk about how we are the hosts of this podcast.
Oh yes.
My name is Chris Marvel.
We have here Andrew Shellens.
All right, so
Yeah,
yes.
there
All right,
we
now
go.
let's get into it. Let's kind of talk about our weeks. How's that, Andrew?
Chris, I will let you do the honors.
Oh, okay. Thank you very
All
much. Yeah. So what is new is I have moved from St. Paul back to Minneapolis. So I was in the Highland Park area, which is really nice. Loved it.
Yeah.
And
When
then
did
now
you ever live in Minneapolis? Oh, okay, never mind.
I've lived in Minneapolis. First I lived on the Stevens Square.
Yep.
This was years ago.
Yep.
When I went to McNally, which is so funny.
Okay.
This is before I went to McNally. Anyway, so lived there for 2 years. Then since I was going to school at McNally, I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna move back to St. Paul.
St. Paul.
So I moved back to St. Paul, and then of course got divorced and all that jazz. Came back here, yeah. But anyways, moved to
This will slowly turn into a 6-hour podcast.
6-hour podcast, yeah. Was in Minneapolis for like a year almost, and then went
go.
back to St. Paul, got a dog, and then moved.
Now you're back.
Now I'm back.
Now you're back to the good old Minneapolis.
The good old Minneapolis, little uptownish area, Whittier. So I'm happy about
Minneapolis
that.
is better.
I love St. Paul. I'm from St. Paul. It's just where I'm at. It's just way more conducive to my lifestyle.
Is it because of all the...
It's all the green hairs.
Yep.
I love them. Yep.
So Minneapolis has
An abundance.
a plethora of women with green hair, and I would assume hairy underarms.
But then really we have to keep it real though. Just all the fucked up bangs. I'm sorry.
You have an issue with the bangs.
I
I don't understand the bangs thing.
Oh man. So many women now have like these like weird, like super high chopped bangs. They look like their younger brother chopped their bangs off. Like that's what it looks like.
You just want to go up and say, girl, no, come on, girl.
I mean, I know that you look good in it, and that's all that matters. But you know,
There we go.
I love it. Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
Well, perfect.
But
so
no,
you
yeah,
moved.
So I moved.
I know because I helped you move.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Slowly but surely, getting everything.
We
in.
gonna get you there.
Yeah. So, but it's hard just because working so much, and so we finally have someone new working, going to be working with us soon.
someone
So,
coming in, so I'm
so
very
there
happy
is a
about
light at the end of the tunnel. So,
I
what about you?
am a merciful God. You didn't work today.
Thank you. Yes, I was out today. Yep.
You shouldn't have worked today.
Yeah.
You should have taken a lot more days off. So.
Oh fuck. So yeah, no, it was good though.
I do owe my life to you right now.
Man, it was so gorgeous today though.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice this weekend, but that's good.
Like last weekend, Saturday and Sunday was absolutely gorgeous. We had, what's it called? We had
Open Streets
in Minneapolis, and then the same day on Sunday there was Grand Old Days.
Yes.
So
I had like a sun migraine,
dude. It was
for like 3 days. Like my headache didn't stop until like noon today.
So Andrew, you can tell, has but
fair skin.
Yeah, you're very white, freckles and all.
Yep.
This dude burns so much, it's ridiculous.
So easily.
Yeah,
I turned down sunscreen.
Yeah.
Like an adult would do.
Dude, this she's like, hey, yeah, can we get like our mutual friend? She's like, man, I have sunscreen right here. She pulls it out, like easily accessible.
I was fine.
All she had to do was go into your hand.
Yep.
And then but no, you had the bro tank on.
Yeah.
Which our friend did give you shit about.
I got the nice shoulders. They're golden browns right now.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like, dude, your freckles look like they're blue compared to the red burnt skin.
Fuck, it wasn't good. Next day was I knew I fucked up.
I was not the only one who wanted just to slap you on your shoulders and say, hey, how you doing? How's your day going, buddy? So yeah,
that was. I mean, that kind of just covered my week too.
That was
That covered my
Grand
week
Old
too.
Days, Open Streets in Minneapolis, which is really cool because they had
Always
wrestling.
fun time.
So.
Yep.
Yeah,
Watch some wrestling.
Uptown. Brought Dwight out, which was really cool. He was a trooper through the whole thing almost.
Yep. Dwight the puppy.
Yep. Dwight the dog.
Yep. I'm surprised you didn't get any Instagram photos the whole time. So I'm proud of you, buddy.
I was in the moment. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you probably weren't too enthused about how many times I would let people say, "Oh, can it's here?"
I know.
And then
we can transition smoothly here to
smooth transition.
Beers of the week. That's gonna be our thing. That will be our thing.
Beers of the week.
Ba-da-da-da.
Beers of the week. Beers of the week. Beers of the week.
There we go.
Okay. That was a lot.
That was good.
So beers of the week.
Yeah, there we go. This week we have. I'm sure you guys heard last week we had pitted two Wisconsin breweries against each other.
Yes.
We are staying with the winner this week.
Correct.
New Glarus Brewing, which. Given what New
I
Glarus
have to cut
is,
you right there, man. It's pronounced New Glarus.
New Glarus.
New Glarus.
New Glarus.
I just made that
it's
up.
A Russian. It's a Russian caliphate. That made no sense.
Russian caliphate.
That made no sense at all. New Glarus. As you know, you could only get this beer in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And for some reason, I love it.
You love New Glarus.
I love New Glarus because you could only get in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's one of those good old down,
down in the backwoods country,
salt of the earth areas of the country.
Okay, yeah.
And we are going to be tasting Cabin Fever.
It's called Cabin Fever.
I've never had this one by them before.
And so it's a lager. So we're gonna take a sip. We're gonna test it out.
There we go.
Well,
it's a Wisconsin style honey bock.
Well, I have to laugh because this is probably an old beer because it's called Cabin Fever and there's what is it?
Snow.
It's a snowy cabin.
I don't know. So my mommy and my daddy bought this for me when they're in Wisconsin, and I do appreciate it. I always enjoy getting beer as a gift, and I think it's really good. It's a Wisconsin.
You can taste the honey.
Bock.
Yeah.
It's delicious, I think.
It says lager.
What are you talking about?
Look at the very bottom.
No, it's larger. Honey Bock Lager. I don't know. Okay.
I'm like...
If you read the fine print...
I'm like, wait, am I mispronouncing?
You hold a Wisconsin-style Honey Bock.
Oh.
Bocks have existed. The pale Bock is
what?
brewed.
That's so weird. Okay, so you guys, listeners, it says Cabin Fever, New Glarus. On the very bottom, it says... lager, 12 fluid ounces. But then when you're reading the description, it says Bock. It's a Bock.
Honey Bock.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know what exactly constitutes a
Listen,
buck.
New Glarus, I'm feeling a little insecure now because you're throwing out conflicting information here.
Yes.
I don't know who to
You're
trust.
making us look like idiots, and now you look stupid. Okay.
Fuck you, New Glarus.
Fuck you.
In Wisconsin,
I'm doing a 4.
you're fucking vaping out alcohol, having asses.
What?
Did you? Oh, so I recently read a story about how Wisconsins now are vaping alcohol.
They're vaping alcohol?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Like through their buttholes?
No, not as cool. Apparently, yeah, they're you can vape or
I've seen guys smoke alcohol.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
That doesn't sound dangerous at all.
I know it's good for your lungs. That's,
Alcohol seems like a pretty caustic
He's like,
substance.
my liver's on the verge of
dying.
death.
Yeah.
so
It looks
I'm
like
gonna,
a California raisin.
I'm gonna transfer and use my lungs. Give it a good workout.
I think it's still the liver. I think it's still.
It feels like my lungs are swimming.
Do they have vape pens that have alcohol in them?
No, I think they were. I don't know if they had like a balloon filled.
I know, like if you pressurize it, you can like release the pressure really quick. It suspends the alcohol, and then you can.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's
Yeah.
probably what you sound like. Hi, my name's Terry.
Hello, I love beer.
I got throat cancer smoking alcohol.
So, anyways, so I'm gonna say this right here because I'm judging as a lager. I'm sorry, I'm going with that. It's flavorful. I bet you it's a little outdated, but it's still good.
I think it's a little outdated.
I'm gonna say probably a solid 3 for a lager, which is pretty good.
3.6.
Ooh,
I'm gonna say 3.6.
okay.
This is good.
You're a little too much, I think, on the New Glarus, but that's okay.
You can just suck a cock.
That
That's
works.
okay.
No, thank you.
We can edit that out too.
I don't care.
I don't go with the direct throwdowns too often.
I'll just be like, yeah, that shirt looks really tight right now. Throw out those.
That's very Minnesotan of you.
You like that? Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
Minnesotan.
I mean, I wouldn't wear that shirt, but yeah, it looks okay on you.
But I really enjoy your courage.
Yeah, yes. I really enjoy your courage. Your courage is inspiring right now.
Inspiring, yes.
By what that shirt
Yep.
they're wearing. Yeah.
Yep,
Did
totally.
you button those 4 buttons all by yourself?
I did. I'm surprised your fat fingers couldn't push the
Sausage
buttons
fingers.
your sausage fingers through the your brown and serve knuckles.
I love it.
Okay.
Brown and serve knuckles, that was good. I love it. Fuck. Your brown and serve knuckles. What was that? Oh, fuck. Oh, goddamn. All right. Okay.
Speaking of brown and serve, it's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best.
They're good.
I
Yeah.
fucking love them.
Brown and serves, I love the
Take
patterns.
them camping.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the easy.
Camping,
yeah,
bam,
great, boom,
they're
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I want to go camping this year. Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. So, anyways, hey, on the positive note,
There
you
we
know
go.
what? Let's play
It's been a crazy week to do
just
the
the
tip of the
The
topic.
topic. There we go.
We are really gonna work this out.
Don't
here.
you want to play
Okay.
just the tip?
So we are under considerations for several transitions
Yes.
to this here.
Not in transitions, more like what is it?
Musical accents
Yes.
to it.
Yeah. Interpretations. That's
interpretations to the transition here.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
We're gonna play a little bit with just the tip
Yes.
for a little bit, and then we're finally gonna just put it in.
That works.
That works.
There we go.
Oh,
There we
fuck.
go.
All right.
Chris, you were wanting to start this off here. We have a little goings on about reading Rainbow.
Yeah. Well, no. So basically, there was just a quick thing that I kind of just kind of went across my path here. Is why TV shows were canceled, and essentially some of these were just for the dumbest reasons. So I'll just talk about 2. One is the Batman TV series, straight up back in the 70s.
Yes.
So
with Adam West.
Adam West.
I think it was the
exactly.
60s, wasn't it?
Oh, it might have been the 60s.
It
yeah.
was the 60s.
Yeah, awesome. I still love it. I'll even watch them sometimes whenever I say, yeah, I love. Boom, pow, whatever.
Yeah.
So they were only on for 3 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
so they got canceled. But then they were actually going to get picked up again with by NBC.
What did you do after school when they got canceled?
I was not born. Like that wasn't that funny.
Mom,
but
my
hey,
Batman! Mom, my Batman! I got polio! Get over it!
Yeah. So anyways, so like only 3 seasons, still funny, but they got canceled. They were gonna be brought back by NBC. Turns
Yes.
out though, in when they were going to do so, they found out that the set had already been destroyed.
Yes.
So they're like,
Yeah.
oh well, fuck. Well, we're not gonna pay any more money to do this. So then they just didn't.
They literally like, this is basically no effort. Yeah, we'll do it.
They
And then
didn't want to. Yep.
When they found out there was going to be effort, they said, fuck it.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Batman set, though, wasn't it like...
There was only a few things like most of them had like blue screens or you know what I mean like
Did
or
they
like
have
whatever
blue screen back then?
Well, like they literally, which was so funny, is they would have like the Batcopter or while they're in the Batmobile, right?
Yep.
So they're driving and it's so stationary. You can just see like a TV or like a screen.
Okay.
I forget how
Yeah.
they did that. You know,
Yep.
like
Yep.
things moving by. It was very hokey.
Like,
yeah.
oh my gosh.
All they're doing is like they're moving the
steering wheel,
steering
and
wheel.
they're, like, just bouncing up
Yeah.
and down. Simpler times.
So anyway, so that was like the dumbest reason. And then the next I found super interesting was Reading Rainbow.
Yes, that was interesting when you told me about it.
So PBS and all that, like, so they basically canceled it finally in 2009, and it was due to the No Child Left Behind, and where essentially the Department of Education wanted to, they wanted to. Hold on, let me now read this.
They wanted to teach how to read, not encourage reading.
So yeah, like
Right.
basically, no child government policy that stressed teaching the rudiments of reading versus fostering a love for reading.
Yeah.
So then PBS and CPB and the Department of Education put significant funding toward programming that would teach kids how to read. John Grant, he's a content chief at the show, basically said, but that's not what Reading Rainbow is about.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that's so interesting. Like, that is so lame. They're like, we're going to cancel this because we need to focus more on how to read rather than the love of reading. And that's kind of...
Reading's not that hard.
Well,
Okay.
when I was younger, it was. Like,
Yeah.
it was, if I wasn't interested, nope.
Well, that's where Reading Rainbow came in.
And that's-
if you
yeah.
weren't interested.
If you weren't interested, like,
Yeah.
it just got you to make reading cool.
Yeah.
To spark your imagination.
I just imagine, and maybe I was lucky, like, I grew up with, I remember
Grandparents.
sitting on my dad's lap, going through reading to my dad, and my dad reading to me. Like,
Isn't it inappropriate, though,
did
if it was a
that.
Playboy, though? Like, that's pretty weird.
We got him for the articles.
Okay. Are we waiting for the articles, honey?
Don't tell your mom.
Yes.
No. I remember, reading with my dad, and like, who learns to read watching TV? You know,
Yeah.
you don't read watching TV. You read with your family. You know, before you go to school,
Yeah.
you've already learned probably the majority you're going to learn of your life.
I was lucky enough to have parents that actually especially for bedtime, we would read.
Yeah.
We would read stories, and that's like, I think my biggest thing, and like this shows my age, but I read like Goosebump books. Like,
I read Goosebumps.
I fucking loved them. My
Goosebumps
favorite.
were fucking awesome.
They were the shit, and like that's why I think if I didn't have Goosebumps, I don't know if I would,
Yeah, that's why I think, like, maybe I would have to, like, see how it's done on PBS, but I think it's creating the environment that encourages kids to continue to do it.
Yeah.
I think by the time they sit down for them to be able to be taught to be read, or by the time a kid's old enough to be able to be taught directly how to read,
Yeah.
they already have to know how to read.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're getting to that point where you've developed so much. You should know how to read by now.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're being taught directly, you're a little fucked.
No, well, and like I have family members and
Can't read?
other people who struggle. Yep, yeah, who struggle. And
They just
it's
never
like,
do it.
and that's the thing is like what happens is you're not setting up children to
Yeah.
Read.
The most important thing you can have in your household, I think, is have books.
Well, I think, because reading is so important, especially comprehension.
Yeah.
You can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Increases your vocabulary.
Yeah.
I wish I had more time to read.
Yeah.
I never read. Besides, like, articles and shit. Like, I don't read books, really. I'm trying to get through Atlas Shrugged, but it's kicking my ass right now.
Well, and that's succinctly why I feel like this is important.
There we go. Yeah, perfect. No, I thought that was really interesting, though, that Reading Rainbow got the
So they got canceled because they said,
canned.
oh, hey, we're doing the standardized thing. We want to focus on actually reading. But really, are there any shows out there on
Reading
PBS?
Rainbow.
Yeah, Reading Rainbow. Yeah, I was
Vividly.
I was that generation of where Reading Rainbow was probably at its peak.
I was
maybe?
very young when
yeah.
it got...
Yeah.
Didn't it ended...
2009.
Well, no, it ended in, like, the late 90s, early 2000s, and it got brought back.
Well, yes.
Right?
And, yep.
There was like
syndicated and all that.
Yeah. So that's too bad. And they're not even teaching cursive anymore in schools.
Why?
What the fuck's going on?
Why?
Okay, quick rant. They don't teach cursive in school because it's not necessary. They say, or it's complicated for people.
Well, it is. No, and the reason, do you know why? Because even like, let's say you're printing, right?
Yes.
You're printing. I see you're printing, and it's fucked. And I love you, buddy.
Yep.
It's fucked.
The whole reason...
Just think if you're fucking doing swirlies, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, it's already hard, but people have different handwriting, and it's so fucked up to see...
You're very
cursive.
correct, and I think that's partly the reason why.
Yeah.
But think how many centuries of written word will be we will be illiterate for hundreds of years of history. You know, the majority of the human of American civilization.
By that time, it'll all
50 years,
already be typed in, and
by somebody though. It'll be typed in by a person. You won't be able to read the
so
text.
hey, that's great though. Is
You
if you know the ancient cursive, if you know how to read the ancient cursive,
that's how it's gonna be.
that you'll have a job.
That's how it's going to be seen. The ancient ways of writing.
Scripts.
You know?
Yes.
It's just so fucked. I don't like that at all. But that was a nice little tip there.
Yeah, there you go. That tip felt great.
That tip was, it was
satisfying.
It was satisfying. Okay. We have another little thing I just happened to pop up to on the internet here. Yeah. Apple has begun to remove podcasts from its Chinese platform.
It was a couple.
Three
Three
podcasts.
And it's making news here.
And the thing is it
our
didn't get
podcast.
removed anywhere else. We can still watch these podcasts on Apple Podcasts.
Yep.
You know, these are Chinese-speaking podcasts in the Chinese language.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
Yes, they've been removed in China, most likely due to requests from the government.
They're Chinese podcasts
Yes.
on Apple.
On Apple's platform.
Platform.
Yes.
And they've been removed by Apple.
Just in one specific country.
Yes.
Just in China.
Yeah.
They weren't removed because of content. They weren't removed because of copyright claims or bad language if they did that.
So
they
we
were
don't know why.
removed simply because the Chinese government asked them to censor these podcasts.
Is that what it is?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
That's the only reason why that
when I was
would
reading
be.
it, I'm like, why the hell why did they take
That's
them
what
off?
they were alluding to.
Oh, okay.
Is the Chinese government has begun to clamp down on free-based podcast journalism.
See, I thought here they were trying to clamp down on free-based cocaine, but it's the free-based press.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's like, should that be concerning to us?
I mean, well, to us, fuck. I don't know. I mean, China's fucked, so.
But China's fucked.
They're socialist.
We could very well be fucked very quickly too.
Well, I'm very curious why they just did that. Apple, if it's a free speech, even though it's not a free speech because I know that even this podcast when we put it on Apple, right?
Yep.
They have to first essentially monitor or what's it called? They have to not inspect.
I think they
approve it. They have to approve it. It has to go through a process.
They improve the first couple, I think, and
Yep.
then it's if it gets flagged.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So the Chinese government would have flagged or contacted Apple directly, most likely.
Yep.
This is kind of a continuing trend here where the only way our tech companies or our entertainment companies are able to enter the Chinese market is if the Chinese government approves it. So there, like there are movies that will leave out anti-Chinese elements or leave out anti-government elements in films
do you
to
think,
get to the box
Team
office
America
there.
would be allowed in
I
China?
doubt Team America would be allowed in there. But I know there are, they do intentionally leave things out of films in order to reach the Chinese market because that's a billion fucking Asians that can give you a lot of money for them.
Straight up,
you know, so that's just the crazy thing is it's our free, it's these companies based in the so-called freest society in the world actively censoring itself for other governments.
That's interesting.
That's a scary proposition.
That's definitely,
And I think it just really shows how companies will react to this pressure.
Yeah. I mean, like, what
We have a very it's a house of cards damn near. Our freedom of speech, our freedom of expression is on stilts.
Yeah.
It's not built in solid rock.
Damn near should.
That's why I got the Second Amendment. That's why you come take my guns.
Get on my lawn.
So, the next tip of the fucking topic here. So it will be, there has been actually quite a bit of chatter regarding the U.S. Census.
Oh.
Well, actually, no, it's the Mexicans. It's actually the Mexicans that we are going to be discussing here a little bit. The U.S. Census
It isn't just Mexicans, it's Hispanics.
Hispanics.
Yes.
Yes. South Americans, Latinos, Latin America.
Wow.
Okay.
Let's
No, we're not editing that. All right. I'll teach you for being funny. We have.
You're wrongly saying.
They have been discussing whether or not to add
Who's the Mexicans?
the.
Fuck. Oh shit! I'm sorry. I'm having way
done
too
with
much
that?
fun. What?
Are you done with that?
Is it too much?
Oh my god.
Oh, this is very fun.
No, this is good.
What are we? What, the Mexicans? That's so stupid.
This is fun.
You're like the Latinas.
The Latin X's.
Are you serious? You're just gonna
Fuck yeah.
fuck you,
Suck a
man.
dick.
Open that
Fuck
up.
you.
What? Just because they say dumb shit. My cheeks are hurting.
Get the fuck over there. Sit back down, you're fine.
No, I'm not fine.
Turn my fan on.
I want this.
Fuck. Chris doesn't like it when I smoke. The census, they're wanting, Donald Trump and Republicans are wanting to add the question, are you a citizen, to the census?
I feel like this has already been talked about, like probably like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
let's talk about
It's
this.
recently been blocked by some judges.
Okay.
So it might actually go to the Supreme Court soon.
Okay.
So that's why it's back in the news.
Perfect. Okay,
So,
yeah.
It really will come to a head here in the coming months because next year is the U.S. Census.
Yep.
It's coming up here. So, and the whole thing is they are wanting to ask this question in order to get a good idea of true representation in government.
That's
Okay.
the what do you call it? That's the reasoning that that we're hearing, but also then you're also hearing no, it's about
Yeah, so let's talk about the U.S. Census. So
Yes.
the reason why the U.S. Census is important is because it decides power in America, more or less. So it's in taking we have these districts in each state that are based on population.
Yep.
So they want people in general areas, and district maps. Each district, you get a representative in Congress. You also, the number of districts in a state
That's not what you're
are
hearing,
dependent
though.
on. I'm just explaining what the census does.
Okay, good.
So it determines the number of representatives a state gets in Congress. Alaska has 1, California has God, I think 60 or 70.
700.
I think it's 70. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is a lot at stake when it comes to this.
Yeah.
And I think the question is the reason why they're wanting to ask, are you a citizen? Should a non-citizen get representation in Congress? The illegal or working immigrants, they don't vote, they can't vote, they can't be drafted, they only have so much skin in the game. Should they vicariously get extra representation just for them being there?
Yeah. So here's I'll try to have a short answer. Because this in America we definitely rely on quote unquote illegal help.
Yep.
Illegal immigrants coming to this country. We definitely rely on that because one, they don't belong here, right? Or not belong here, but they
Go ahead, backtrack really quick.
Illegally,
Yep.
Right? Yeah. They don't belong
Well, I
here.
think the crazy thing is it's undocumented now.
It's undocumented.
It's not illegal because no
I
one's
love
illegal.
It. I love it. That's so great. Oh, you're
fucking
just breaking your fucking
undocumented.
chair.
It's broke now.
Eating too many ho-hos. So anyways, you fucker.
Just don't. Just keep doing it. Keep going.
So no, my view is that so in America we use and we have illegal immigrants here, especially for our workforce. So and a lot of the system is set up for that because they are a cheaper workforce.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
really helps out. What do you call it? A lot of companies.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
So we need that, yes, and that's great. Or not we that, but we have that in place already. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So what they're saying now is that yes, do we want actual representation? Do we want our numbers right? I think that's the argument is hey, do we want should we really care about how accurate the numbers are?
Yeah.
Meaning. How many
Just
people?
the actual number of human beings living in this area.
So that's the
at
thing
this
is
time.
exactly. So
Yeah.
do we have an actual count of all of the people living here? Which that's what they're wanting. That's
Yeah.
what's happening now.
That's historically what the census has been.
Correct, correct. Yep.
But to add this citizenship question in
Yep.
it's really to ask how many permanent residents are living here.
Yeah.
Should we care about, because there could be a worker that came in for just a couple months who's living. We've had them. They could be here on a short-term work visa.
Yeah.
Should we count them?
Well, and that's so. And I think here's the also an argument too is I think some people in would say, yeah, we want to know how many people are able to vote. That's the biggest thing is no, we only want people in our census to who are able to vote.
Well, I think the best way to put it is do we want to have a census that creates a system where people who are represented by the correct number of people they are representing?
Yeah.
I
I think that's where it gets muddy is that there are people who live here. There are people who work here that have to abide by these laws.
Yeah.
And also who will be affected or
Yes.
whatever, So,
well, here's the other side, I guess, really quick.
yeah.
So the other side is redistricting and the number of representatives you would get is important.
Your point is saying, let's say that we keep this, they keep the are you a U.S. citizen?
Well, no. Right. So, what did I say?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So the whole thing is the number of representatives you get is based on the census here.
Correct.
Not just that, but also the amount of money that can be allocated to you for things like public health, infrastructure.
Yep.
Should these people shouldn't these people be counted? Even if they are illegal, they're still using the roads. They're still using public infrastructure. Their moneyed need is not going to go anywhere, and to properly serve not just these illegal people, but
the
also
community as a whole.
the community as a whole properly.
Yeah.
That would also be necessary. You know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it comes in at.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
We can have one count of real people and one count of all people.
I think that would, and like, why don't they? Because I remember hearing, I think it was on NPR. You know, their argument was that, hey, if you can do that, just open the door.
No,
sorry. If we count the actual people who are citizens, right?
Yes.
That is gonna drastically change the census or the system.
Yes.
Because the numbers are going to be so skewed now. Because for years it has been
this way.
Yeah, this way.
Yes.
So now it's going to fuck shit up.
Well, it would fuck shit up, but would it not bring more representation to the general whole of the American of the American citizenry?
The American citizen, yeah.
Which is who's being represented.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Inner cities would lose. Would stand to have less districts within them. Yeah. So a lot of times the city centers, they're kind of pied out.
Yeah.
The city centers, you know, the bulk populations, and they get brought out more into the countryside. So if we stop counting these people that shouldn't live here, don't pay taxes or might not pay taxes, don't invest in our country in the way that we do, that would widen. It wouldn't be such a dense representation in the cities, and it would bring it out to a wider area, and it would also spread representation from places like California, Texas, Florida, and New York to the center as well, more so. So that, I think that's an interesting thing.
I do think when we were talking too about how, let's say we got just quote unquote accurate information of just U.S. citizens, right? And then that would reduce in some areas the electoral or the amount of representatives.
Yeah, in a state.
In a state.
Yeah.
So that would definitely shift.
California would be, and the thing is the reason why this is so political is because states like California, Texas, they would lose power in the union.
Yeah.
They would lose representation. They would lose votes in Congress.
Yeah.
You know, that's a crazy thing. And they would lose
because districts
money.
would change.
Districts would change,
and then
the number of representatives in each state would change. You know, Alaska could gain a rep, and they'd love it. You know, I think it's kind of a funny thing. You know, they could fight this out politically, and what would happen if they, if they decide not include the citizenship question?
Yeah.
Theoretically, you could say that states with more power strong arm the little states. Because the big states have the power right now.
It's almost like there's an incentive to have
the status quo.
The status quo, like having let's say non-documented people.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Like,
and it can feel callous, I'm sure, when we say that, but
it's hard though, because it's like you have let's say you have a city, there's 100 people, right?
Yeah.
And you want you want the system to know that there's 100 people here, right?
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden now, this next census, they're like, nope, there's only 20 people that are actually supposed to live here. And you're only getting money or representation of this 20%.
Yeah.
So I think that's the perfect...
That's a very good point, too.
You know, it's almost like, hey, these are the people that are doing everything, you know, or who are living by the American way.
You know, infrastructure needs to be provided for this 100 people.
Yeah.
But you're only saying 20 people live here.
Yeah.
We can't make that work.
Yeah.
So I mean, and the thing is they say if you add a citizenship question to it, the people that go around asking these questions, people stop answering the questions,
And-
so they don't get an accurate count regardless.
And I joked with you earlier about
Yeah,
the
yep,
about the
yep.
it's like it's like, wait, they're asking, do you legally live here? It's almost
Yeah.
like, hey, are you using illegal drugs? It's like, oh yeah, I am.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who's
I
gonna
thought
fucking
was
write
hilarious.
that?
Yeah. I thought, no, I'm not supposed to be here. Yeah.
No, I'm not
Please
supposed to be
support
here.
me.
I know.
Right.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like,
Fuck.
so if they really want to represent, like that's where.
It's
Yeah.
such a wholesome conversation we had, probably. Yeah.
Do you smoke crack? Yeah, I do. I'm being honest here. It's like no one's gonna be like, yes, I do. I use illegal drugs.
Yeah, no, that's literally
fuck.
the perfect thing. 'Cause that kind of does like what the fuck are we doing here?
Come on.
You know?
Yeah. So
It's kind of you can make the argument for it, but in the end, it's realistic.
I think no,
Maybe
like,
not.
and I don't like. I like the idea. Like, no, hey, you know what? No, we want true representation of American citizens because you're an American citizen, right? But now this America
Yeah.
system has so much to do with quote unquote illegal immigrants.
Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah.
America is to have now, like just like how American culture is infused now a lot with hip hop culture, right?
Sure.
And so it's like I think we're kind of now past that point where America is infused with immigrants. I'm not
We're very
illegal.
dependent.
Yes,
And then one
and
thing
so
is,
so
I
then of
think-
course they have to be represented. But now you're saying like I don't know, I don't.
Well, I think one of the crazy things is I remember growing up, they always said that there was like 9 to 11 illegal immigrant, 9 to 11 million illegal immigrants in the country. You know, that was always about
Like
what
you
they
grew up
thought,
like 11
you
years
know?
old, and you'd be like, yeah, there's like 11.
Yeah, more or less.
It's a
Yeah.
normal kitchen table talk.
But like,
Dad, did you know that?
yeah. But like 3 years ago, they doubled the number to 22 million. We have no idea how many people are living here undocumented, illegally. We don't have any clue.
I mean, we do just because based on either
We just doubled
cars,
it, though.
homes, whatever, So
I don't know.
social security numbers, fake social. I mean, like.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
use social security numbers. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those weird things. It's kind of, you can make the argument. Is it going to change anything in the end? Probably not. You could make the case for. You can make the case that we should add it in so there's true representation. And if people don't answer if they're a citizen or not, they're probably not a
But
citizen.
here's
you know?
what's so fucked up is like, I do feel like this scenario is very much of a stalemate because, I feel like you either have to do both, and there has to be like they have like mean and median,
Yeah.
in mathematics,
Yeah.
but like, and I feel
Yeah.
like that we need to have both. We need to have one that says, okay, true representation of all. And
Well,
then I don't know, like 'cause-
you could allocate resources based on the general. Are you a human living
and
here?
everyone loves fucking demographics.
Yeah.
So and
Yeah,
that's
demographics,
how, so
Well, one way you could do it is you could base representation off the number of the number of citizens living there.
Yeah.
And base resources infrastructure wise for just the number of bodies living there.
and
That's one way you could get around it.
yeah, well, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Wanting to know actually, hey, how many people? And I understand, like, it would be good to know how many, a true number
Yeah.
of how many illegal are here and working or in living, and then how many people are here, and then just use that information.
I would say the main democratic response would be these people are human beings. They deserve to have representation, even if
Yeah.
it's vicariously through just having more representation within
Yeah.
the states.
Yeah.
My question is, if that's true, then why don't we allow them to vote?
Correct.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If we want to give
Love
them
that. I love that.
representation, you give
Yeah.
them full representation,
Yeah.
or you don't give them any representation. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And if you let illegals vote, oh fuck.
Well, I mean,
That would cause a civil war.
Well, I mean, and I always, this is getting way more into it, but I always ask, like, what is who is America? Who are we? You know what I mean?
This is America.
Yeah.
No.
Could you slip in up? Yeah. So yeah, I always think like, should we let just the whole question is like, this is my country, right? And it's like, like, whose country is it? Is it a hodgepodge? Do we let everyone influence who America is? Like, I feel like we all need to come together and figure out a picture, a view of what America is.
Yeah.
Right? And then let's all kind of like, have a...
I think that's one of the main questions is I think you're right there, especially when it comes to like the immigration debate is we are a nation of immigrants, but do we want open borders?
And that's
the question.
There you go.
Do we have we had more or less open borders. We didn't let sick people in, but we more or less had open borders to our 100 years of our history.
We've had and I think what's so great
over 100 years of our history.
And even though there's other countries too that we've let in Irish, Germans, we Italians, Jewish people, Jews, like everyone. And it's like over, period, Hispanics, what's it called, the hell, Hmong, Chinese, Japanese, everyone now here is in America. Huge melting pot, do we keep this image of, old America when we first started settling in, even though that was a fucking dirty history, or do we all focus on like in the 40s and 50s of what America was or is?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like so many people nowadays too, they just want to keep that view of that picture of white picket fence America, be true.
Yeah.
But it's like, was
the
it
thing
ever
is, the
like
50s
that?
will never come back.
No.
I mean, most of the modern world during the 1950s was rebuilt.
We got to the moon.
We got to the fucking moon.
And that was all. That was the end of it.
I mean, it's a funny thing. We are living our best lives right now. We have
hashtag yas. You just we're living our best lives.
We are living our best lives right now, though. But the economy is the best it's been from like the 60s. We live much longer than we did in the 50s. There's much less crime than back then. I think the reason why we feel like everything is so fucked up right now is because we have such a luxury to care about all these little things.
I think
that kind of leads to
I think
that's a little off topic.
No, it is though, because like once you are able to do that, then you think about human rights. Then you're able to have, you're no longer in surviving. You're able to have a focus on so many other things.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah,
I think that was
man.
Tip.
We went balls deep.
Yeah, I know that was not just a tip there. Yeah. We got talked into some shit.
Fuck yeah,
there.
I love it.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna go to the doctor now. Chris, you are the father.
Thank you. It ain't true unless Maury says it is.
Do a backflip on Maury.
Turns out that was a lie.
Fuck, dude. Maury is the downfall of the human civilization.
No,
Jesus
it was
Christ.
Before then it was Jerry Springer. Before then it was
at least
Sally Jesse Raphael.
They could fight it out on Jerry.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
She has something to tell you. Yeah, I'm a man.
Yeah. Thanks for embarrassing me on national television.
You know they already know.
Yeah.
They have to already know.
It's like, yeah, what do you want to... Well, you know what? What do you want to talk about? I really would just love to just wait till we go to Maury. What? Why? What? Why are we going to Maury? No, let's just wait. Just wait till we get there. Okay,
like they
sure.
Going around asking questions.
Man, like, yo, this chick is taking me to Maury. What the fuck is going on?
Did her boobs get big?
Yeah.
Fuck. I haven't seen her in 9 months.
I mean, it's normal to have a 10-inch clitoris, right? Andrew is just like, he's got his hand on his head, like, man.
So, we're about to talk about Iran. I ran so far away.
Gotta get away.
I know. That's all the words I know to that song. Yeah. there has been some goings on in the Middle East, a
Yeah.
historical, very quiet part of the world.
Yeah, it's a quaint little town.
Yeah, the cul-de-sac like. Okay.
Cul-de-sac. It's the cul-de-sac of the Middle East.
Of the Middle East. Yeah.
Quiet. There's jump ropes. It says beware of children.
Yeah. With AK-47s.
Beware of infidels.
So there has been lots of going-ons within in regards to Iran.
So Iran, uranium, nuclear fusion,
Yes.
disarmament, trade
Something
deals.
we have been talking about for decades.
Yeah.
Absolute decades now. We have a really storied history with Iran, but to give you a really quick breakdown of what's been going on,
If you don't already know and you haven't watched the news,
you're living under a rock. So more or less, Obama had gotten an Iran nuclear deal.
Bill Clinton before.
Yes. I don't know about that, but
yeah.
Obama had the Obama administration agreed with Iran over a quote unquote landmark nuclear deal, which basically it didn't stop Iran from making uranium. It didn't stop them from pursuing the science behind nuclear fusion.
The storage of uranium.
Yes, It's what it did was it limited their capacities. It limited what they're able to do with it. So more or less,
The percentage
yes.
of uranium.
The purity of the uranium
Correct.
that Iran was able to create was lowered from like 97%
No, it was-
down to 3%.
So, they said that to make a bomb,
Yes.
weapons, it's you need at least 90%.
90%.
90%. Yep. And then they all the way down to like
3.67.
Yeah,
I think it was
yep,
3.67. So basically, the Obama administration had agreed with Iran that they could keep their nuclear reactors and those kind of things, but they couldn't purify it to bomb level material.
Correct, yeah.
More or less, and they had to. They couldn't create this vast infrastructure. It's a thing called centrifuges that are used to purify uranium. They had to cut those down,
scale down.
to a non-threatening level.
Yes.
It was 6,000 centrifuges.
Yep. No, it went from
5,000
Yeah.
plus 1,000 for research and development. So,
Boom.
So the whole thing with Iran is and historically what they have said is that they are only pursuing nuclear energy.
Yeah.
Not a bomb. They're trying to be energy independent.
Mm-hmm.
However, very, very contrary to what we believe, and the fact that we have had sanctions on this country, debilitating sanctions on this country for years.
Yeah.
Who's gonna do that? Who's gonna keep doing that just for nuclear energy's sake?
Yeah.
No, they're not. They're trying to get a bomb actively.
Well, and that's I remember before we were starting this podcast, I'm like, where was the smoking gun when Trump came into office?
Yeah.
Essentially, and whatever. Trump came into office and says, nope, we are going to not do this anymore.
So
And
Donald Trump.
what's the-
I think the main thing was it was a reaction to the deal itself.
Okay.
Because the deal came out in about 2016, mid 2016, right before Donald Trump joined the presidential field there.
Okay, yep.
So
I love it when he acquired a presidential.
yeah. Well, yeah. So or I'm not sorry. Yeah. So not 2016. It was a little before that.
Yep.
Donald Trump was hammering Obama during that time
Yeah.
and throughout his candidacy for president there. So I think it was really just keeping a promise of what was said on the campaign trail, more or less, really.
Like that, like instead of building a wall, he could mess with Iran.
So yeah.
or take
It
that
was
down.
another way for him to seem stronger than Democrats.
Correct. Okay,
you know?
okay,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. Absolutely. So and there's this whole thing. Iran and the United States have a storied history.
Long history.
Long history.
Yep.
So the CIA had more or less overturned Iran's government in the 50s and installed a dictator, the Shah of Iran.
But one that we had chosen, or at least helped put into power.
Yeah, we put this very Western-leaning Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi.
Wait, RZA, like from Wu-Tang Clan?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was him. So we installed this. He's more or less a dictator, is who we installed. It was a monarch.
Okay.
A monarch in Iran there. Very Western-leaning. He was a very great friend to the United States.
Great friend. He was a great friend.
Yes.
Dear friend of ours.
Very corrupt.
That was my Trump.
He had
impersonation.
That was terrible. He actually had murder squads and things like that. Secret
Perfect,
police
perfect.
ruled with an iron fist until he was eventually overthrown in the late 70s. 1979 is
That's
when
when I
he was
was born.
officially overthrown. Oh, there you go. You were born the same year I ran as we know it was today. Okay.
I was not. That was a total lie. Sorry.
Oh, okay. The Ayatollahs were then reinstated as the government there.
And it's the guy with
Yes.
the guys with the big white bushy beards.
Big white bushy beards. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So these guys are more or less the supreme rulers. Okay, so it's a Sharia law state. So it's not the law of the government; it's the law of God that dictates Iran.
Fuck.
Okay.
And if you don't know, if you can't imagine who they are, just watch Back to the Future 2. There's a scene where he's in the 80s cafe, Marty McFly, and you will see
Ayatollah Khomeini.
Ayatollah, and he is arguing with Michael Jackson. So just putting that out there for you. That's Ayatollah.
I'm totally gonna look that up now.
Fuck
I did
yeah.
not know
Yep,
that.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
you'll
Okay,
see it too. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's like, you must talk special. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
And there was an interesting thing. So during the 80s, the Ayatollahs do not like Western civilization. They do not like the United States.
They didn't like Back to the Future 2.
Probably not. I'm sure they didn't. There was a thing where Iraq invaded Iran during the 80s. Saddam Hussein saw an opportunity to go to war with an oil-rich nation to try to get their oil fields, more or less.
It's Iraq.
Yes, and we sold Saddam Hussein billions of dollars of weaponry, including chemical weapons.
Yeah.
We actually sold Saddam Hussein chemical weapons during this time. Funny thing is,
fucked up.
farther into the war, we started funding Iran as well. We were getting two sides of the pie in Iran.
yeah.
Okay.
America's great.
Well, that's the crazy thing. We do not have. I think it's important when we look at these negotiations with Iran how much of a fucked up back and forth we have with them.
It's and like it's, how do you say this? It's hard to I kind of feel ashamed sometimes that like I'm a part of something like that where they're like, yeah, fuck that, like they don't care, and they're like, they're gonna bomb everyone except us. It's like almost like you're like, how I equate it is like, let's say I'm funding the Bloods to fight the Crips.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, but no, you know what? Because I'm getting something from it.
It's not exciting enough.
Yeah. So then now I'm gonna fund the Crips, give them a little more ammo to fight the Bloods. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, was it just to make money?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure making money was a big part of it.
About power moves and securing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can gain favor. I mean, if both sides don't realize they're getting funded by the same individual, they both like you.
Yeah.
You know?
Fuck
So
yeah.
maybe it was investing in A and B, and hopefully coming out ahead on both.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But it is really shady dealings we've had with this country.
Yeah.
Dealings that have killed Iranians. You know, Iranians have in return killed Americans. Especially during the Iraq War, Iranian-backed militias in Iraq have been shown to. They believe the number is about 600 U.S. soldiers have been killed by Iranian-backed forces. Yeah. Not Iranian forces, Iranian-backed forces.
Okay.
So it's not a direct. It's not so direct, but they had received support from Iran.
Yeah.
So in the region, they are considered an enemy, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They consider us an enemy, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
So to say that It'd be stupid for them to go through these sanctions in order to get a nuclear bomb. It is not so.
Say that one more. What do you mean?
For Iran to not look at the history of them in the United States, for them to not want a nuclear weapon, would be a hard sell.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Nuclear weapons, mad, mutually assured destruction. It is absolutely something that they would be concerned about, especially maybe not the people of Iran, but Ayatollah, the people pulling the strings in Iran, the dictatorship.
I'm sorry, but like in this world, if let's say I was Iranian and that was the biggest thing from keeping me in the game, risk.
That's
that's literally what it feels like sometimes, or what I hear. But like if I knew. Like, that's what's keeping me in this game of staying afloat, being alive,
staying
being
in power.
prosperous with my people and all that. Of course, I'm gonna fucking stockpile my shit.
Yeah,
and even flirt with selling my weapons to someone else.
Sure. Yeah. It's
like having that power move.
It's going into the
that?
world.
That
was bad.
Please do that one more
That
time.
was really bad. I might edit that out. Actually, it's funny because fuck. Shit.
I'm like, he's going way too long.
I'm trying to correct this, but I can't because he won't stop. So,
everyone, he's in a loop. He's in a loop. He'll correct himself.
Just
he got out of it. He got out of it.
And plug him back in.
He got
All right, there we go. So that's kind of the reason why I don't think anyone can really blame Iran for trying to go for these nuclear weapons here. I think the big thing...
continuing to produce uranium.
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 Uranium
They need to just call it Iranian.
Uranium at a level that could be a weapon.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, well, and like... So yeah, that's crazy. And one thing that like in our research and all that crap, they're talking about how, hey, we're setting up these sanctions where America is essentially saying, hey, listen, we're not going to buy your shit, Iran. Good luck.
Yeah.
And also, if anyone else is around here, if they're buying Iran's oil, we're going to sanction you too.
Yeah. Literally,
the
goal is to have... So Iran's largest export is oil.
Yep.
That's
their biggest moneymaker. That's how people... And then it all trickles down in their
social services, infrastructure, totally. We've literally said that if you buy from Iran... shit's gonna happen to you too.
Yep.
The goal is literally zero exports.
Have you ever seen the movie Braveheart?
Yeah.
You ever seen where attack on a king's men is an attack on the king, and he kills William Wallace's wife? Remember that?
I think so.
Where they were kissing, whatever, and basically they caught the William Wallace's wife.
Okay.
And he was trying to basically rape her, and she bit him. Right.
Okay.
And then so what ends up happening is they catch her, and the king comes down and says, "Hey, listen, an attack on the king's men
is an attack on the
king."
Yeah.
So essentially, America is saying, if you're gonna fuck with these people. You're gonna I feel like that's kind of like
no, that makes sense. If you don't do as we're wanting, or if you don't go along with what we've decided, then we decide
either you're with us or you're against us.
Basically,
that's
very ultimatum.
Yes.
Yeah, very ultimatum.
I like my attack on the King's Men. That's
all right.
Braveheart reference.
That's okay. That was good.
Keep it interesting.
Yeah. So, and the whole thing is we've recently sent the USS Abraham Lincoln to the Middle East. Yeah, it's an aircraft carrier, along with destroyers. They were flirting with.
Stop, real quick. There's a USS
Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. Of course there is. There's a USS John McCain.
Shut up!
What?
Sorry.
What?
Oh my God.
That's not abnormal.
Why Abraham Lincoln?
Because he's a fucking president.
But like,
There's also like a Michigan, USS Michigan.
Okay,
USS,
I guess, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
What else are you going to name it?
I don't know, USS Dinosaur?
Fuck.
USS T-Rex.
This is why you won't ever be president, Chris, okay?
What's that? It's the USS T-Rex.
It's the USS Lincoln Logs.
It's the
It reminds me of
USS
my childhood. I like
fucking
it. Okay.
USS Brachiosaurus. You don't want to fuck with that. I feel like that's the Lincoln. Like what? I wasn't
you honk the horn,
the
it just goes,
Emancipation Proclamation. Like, you know, they're like, instead of freeing the slaves, we're gonna free the missiles. I love it. I get it now.
You could literally write a Michael Bay movie right now. Okay,
God,
you
I
literally could do that right now.
Oh, I love
Okay.
it. Yes.
So we sent a lot. What we've actually done is send ships to the area there. So we got the Persian Gulf there, which is a huge area for 1/3 of the world's oil transports along the Persian Gulf there. So we sent ships there. They were flirting with the idea of sending 120,000 U.S. troops to the region. The region.
Yeah.
So that is a very scary prospect, because when you start sending in troops, when you start sending in ships, you don't just send them in there for the nice weather.
And here's what's so fucked up is, and you showed me that video of Iran's kind of last stance.
Yes.
And like
the Strait of Hormuz.
What?
The Strait of Hormuz.
Perfect, and you can splice that.
Yeah.
But no, I find it very interesting that like once you start making these moves, once you start, you know, and then it looks like once they shut that port down, that becomes
Strait.
the strait. Once they do that, then it becomes a world issue.
Literally,
which
the UN would get involved.
UN, and then sounds like
the whole fucking
World
world.
War.
So the Strait of
which
Hormuz, 1/3 of all of the oil that is consumed in the world goes through this strait.
Yeah. Well, it was 30% goes through
the strait.
The strait.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
which is a huge amount, but still, it's 30%.
That would
cripple the
world economy. Okay, that would be insane. Just imagine one day gas goes up $20, you know, a gallon or something. You know, there would be shortages of gas.
What would be 20%? Would it be 20% of $4?
I mean, I would think, you know, if 1/3. I mean, if you think about it, you know, when these small countries go down and they stop producing oil, gas goes up like $2 a gallon.
Yeah.
You know, when we hear these little news blips, think about how much that affects the price of gas.
Yeah.
Imagine 1/3 stops being made.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be looking at $6-8 a gallon.
Fucking Germany prices.
Fuck yeah. Honestly.
French prices.
Imagine what would happen in France.
Yeah.
You know,
Man.
holy shit. It would be fucked. And so much is dependent on oil. You know, it's not just gas that would go up. Products and services would go up too. It would ripple. And the thing is if that was to occur, or if they start talking about that, they might, hey, they are looking towards closing the strait. Hey, there's issues in the Strait of Hormuz. I would take that more seriously than just, they're fucking around. No, that's a big section of the world. We are very interconnected when it comes to that.
So my biggest thing is like, are we just doing this? Do we really have concern about uranium production, or is it more of a, hey, we just want to doing all this research when I'm thinking about how our Saudi Arabia affiliation, or what do you call it, partnership, ally, right?
Yep.
And how Saudi Arabia and Iran and also Yemen, that whole ordeal isn't good. So I feel like this is
the whole ordeal.
Shut up. We're not going to explain it. We were talking about last week.
Okay.
Remember?
Yep.
Yeah. So my biggest thing is like, hey, is this kind of to help Saudi Arabia? You know what I mean? Like that's the thing, is like, Are we just doing this to further trying to
Cement
cripple
our
Iran? Like,
I
you know,
think so.
that's what it feels. That's what
was-
it feels like. My natural reaction or intuition is like, we're just trying to fuck their shit up, and I'm sorry, that
Well,
sucks for
well,
the Iranian people.
One thing that I saw quite a bit of was they were talking about regime change in Iran.
Yeah, okay.
That's a big thing. So I was watching Al Jazeera is fantastic on this because they are kind of based more in that area. They're based
Yeah.
in Middle East
Yeah,
politics.
yeah.
So they had easily the most coverage of this situation here.
Yeah.
And they had Americans on, and one guy was on there, and I'll have to look up who he was. If you look up Al Jazeera's coverage on Iran, it's fantastic. If you are interested in the subject and having big people talking about the subject, informed people,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. They were talking about how this could be considered a pro-democracy movement, that they want to reinstate democracy in Iran. I thought it was very funny how one of the guys from Iran, from Tehran, said, then why are you allies with Saudi Arabia?
Fuck yeah. Well,
And I thought
that's
very true.
That's perfect. Yeah, I didn't watch a video, but as I was going through a few videos, they had Jordan Peterson say how democracy won't work.
In Iran?
Yeah,
I don't think...
I forget. Or yeah, like
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think... I mean, democracy... Okay. I don't think that you can go into a country like this saying champion democracy while your main ally and your main,
seriously.
supporter is a monarchy.
Correct.
It makes absolutely no sense, especially because Saudi Arabia has just as bad a track record as
Fuck
Iran when it comes to human rights. So the democracy portion is kind of moot, I think.
Yeah, no, I doing the listening and reading and watching all of this, right? There are all of these power moves, right? With uranium and all of this, right?
Yeah.
But then when you get down to it, though, there are people that are just regular people living there trying to just live
Yes,
life,
yeah.
and they're normal people. And so what happens is that one thing I was reading is that people are now, of course, scared with especially with the stock market, but also with in Iran, the people are not wanting any of this, and now
they do not benefit from any of this.
they're not benefiting. And so what I heard is that like now they're trying to invest not only in the American dollar, but because they don't know what the fuck's going to happen, like because of what happens if sanctions continue, the Iranian currency, it'll just hyperinflation.
Yes, similar to
And that's
Venezuela.
crazy. Yes, yeah, and like that's so fucked.
Yeah, the whole thing about sanctions is that they say they're sanctioning the Iranian government. The thing is the Iranian government, these ayatollahs, the people in the government, they eat the same meals they're going to eat that day.
Yeah.
It's the people. Sanctions are, in my mind, they are not to affect politicians. They're not to affect
It's supposed
ruling.
to affect the people you love, but they don't love.
Yes. Well, that yes, and it's supposed to destabilize the country.
Well, and that's exactly what's happening. That's going to happen.
It's not to hurt the rulers. It's to hurt the people, so
Yeah.
the people get fed up,
Yeah.
and they take away the power, the negotiating power
Yeah.
of the other side.
But that's what's so fucked up. And like I was talking to you earlier, was like, you're going to get these people that aren't, in the. It's not like they're all like in a desert. Some people are, like well off. I mean, they're really nice places, cities in Iran. But what's going to be crazy though is like you start to fuck with people, like they're going to get fucked, and the economy is going to be fucked. And who are they going to blame? America. So it's not going to help American and Iran relations at all, because all they're going to do is just say, "Oh yeah, it's those guys over there across the sea."
If they successfully blame us and they hold out a
There's
you mentality,
yeah,
that's very possible.
and that's gonna, and so what's going to happen is just going to breed more violence.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. But we could talk about this. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty good though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at our typical podcast time.
Yeah.
So I,
Okay.
I think that was pretty decent.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm very excited for what the future holds for this. We are creating a website right now.
Boom, we're getting it.
We are filling out more and more.
Yep.
Well, that's youropinionman.com. Soon to come.
Hey-o,
One of y'all assholes
yes.
buy it before I do. I'm gonna be pissed. All right.
You want it, you gotta pay for it.
Yeah,
fuck
you.
you.
All right.
Yep.
Come on, Mom.
Yeah. Give me the $20 real quick.
Why don't you visit more?
But yeah, anyways, thank you very much for listening.
Absolutely. This has been another
Installment of
Well, That's Your Opinion, Man.
Give us a like and a subscribe.
Yes.
And subscribe to I don't know what.
If
but
you were hearing this right now, fucking share this shit.
fucking share it, yes.
Or give us at least a like.
yes.
Give us a little thumbs up.
By the time this is out, we will have an Instagram and we will have beers and some cute dog pics.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Awesome. Yeah.
All
So,
right.
awesome, guys. Thank you very much for welcoming us into your home or into your heads, into your earbuds, or car stereo, radios, whatever. And we love you, everyone.
Think about you every night.
Think about you every night.
All right.
Yeah. That's
Well, it's been another episode.
Fuck.
All right.
You guys have a great night. Bye.
They're much too big to try to dig. The colorful names we say.